the glitch in the code, when the game plays you. We've all chased that perfect scare, right? That game's so real, so intense, it makes your heart pound. But what if the terror didn't stop when you hit quit? What if the code, the glitches, the nightmares, started to bleed into your actual life? Tonight, we're diving into the disturbing experience of Pixel_Hunter, a dedicated streamer who thought he'd found the ultimate horror game. It was called Eventide Asylum, a small, indie title, rumored to be cursed. And as Pixel_Hunter streamed his descent into its digital depths, something else began to descend into his reality. This is the chilling story of how a game stopped being a game and started to play its player. Eventide Asylum burst onto the scene with almost no marketing, just whispers in the deep corners of gaming forums. It promised unparalleled immersion, adaptive AI, and true psychological horror. Pixel_Hunter, always chasing the next big scare for his audience, was one of the first to get his hands on it. From the moment he launched it, he was hooked. The graphics were unnervingly realistic, the sound design chillingly immersive. The asylum felt alive, breathing, watching. His viewers ate it up, captivated by his genuine terror. He streamed for hours, days, losing himself in the desolate halls of Eventide. It started subtly. During one late-night stream, a door in his apartment, which he swore he'd closed, was found slightly ajar. Just fatigue. He'd laughed off to chat. Then, the lights in his room would flicker in patterns identical to the faulty bulbs in the game's asylum. His reflection in his monitor seemed to linger a moment too long. He dismissed it as visual tricks, overactive imagination from too many hours inside Eventide Asylum. His audience, of course, thought it was all part of the show, elaborate roleplay for content. They egged him on, oblivious to the quiet dread beginning to coil in Pixel_Hunter's stomach. The auditory glitches were next. During a particularly intense section of the game, where his character was trapped in a padded cell with unsettling whispers, Pixel_Hunter swore he could hear identical whispers echoing from his own hallway. When he paused the game, they stopped. When he resumed, they started again. He tried to record them, but his microphone picked up only silence. "Am I losing it?" he muttered to his stream, his voice thin. The comments were still mostly jokes, but a few, more astute viewers started to express concern. They noticed the genuine strain in his eyes. Desperate to make sense of what was happening, Pixel_Hunter started keeping a journal. At first, it was just game notes, enemy patterns, puzzle solutions. But slowly it morphed into a terrifying chronicle of his blurring reality. He documented every flicker, every whisper, every time he saw a fleeting shadow in his peripheral vision that wasn't there when he looked directly. He started writing about the faces he swore he saw in his reflection, the way the game characters seemed to stare directly at his camera, even when his in-game character was facing away. The line between what was his thought and what was the game's influence was eroding. The mirrors became a particular torment. Or rather, his monitors, when turned off, acted like dark mirrors. During one stream, while he was intensely focused on a difficult puzzle in Eventide Asylum, a flicker in the reflection of his darkened second monitor caught his eye. It wasn't him. It was a gaunt, distorted face, its eyes wide and hollow, pressed right against the glass. He whirled around, heart pounding, but his room was empty. He convinced himself it was his mind playing tricks, a phantom image from the game. But the next night, and the night after, the reflection lingered longer, clearer, just behind him, silently observing his every move. With every twist and turn of the plot, your incredible support, your likes, comments, and shares, truly fuels our descent into the unknown. We couldn't uncover these unsettling truths without you. The most terrifying encounter didn't happen on screen. It happened to his apartment door. One morning, after a restless night filled with game-induced nightmares, he woke to a faint scratching sound coming from his bedroom door. It was low, rhythmic, like fingernails on wood. He froze, listening. It matched the sound of the asylum patients trying to scratch their way out of their cells in the game. He saw the doorknob turn, slowly, silently. He pressed himself against the wall, breath held, watching in horror as a thin, inky shadow stretched out from beneath the door, reaching towards him. He didn't scream. He just stared, transfixed, as the shadow receded, and the doorknob clicked back into place. That was the breaking point. The game wasn't just influencing his mind, it was actively present in his physical space. Shaking, sweating, Pixel_Hunter stumbled out of his chair and began yanking cables from his PC, tearing at the wires as if severing a physical tether. As the power drained, his main monitor, still displaying a frozen image of the asylum, started to flicker violently, showing glimpses of grotesque faces and impossible geometries before finally going dark. The room was plunged into near silence, save for his ragged breathing. He thought he was free. He was wrong. He uploaded one final video. Not a stream, but a confession. A raw, unedited recording of his room, his experience. His face was gaunt, his eyes hollow, filled with a primal fear. He whispered about the entities that now haunted his apartment, mirroring the asylum's inhabitants. He spoke of the static that now filled his ears even in silence. He showed the camera faint scratch marks on his walls that weren't there before. He swore he could still hear the game's whispers, even with his PC unplugged. His last words were a plea. Don't play it. Don't let it in. It sits still here. It sees you. Pixel_Hunter's final video went viral, quickly racking up millions of views. His community was stunned, horrified, and deeply concerned. Days later, police performed a welfare check at his apartment. They found his gaming setup, his journal detailing his descent into paranoia, and a perfectly neat, empty apartment. No signs of struggle. No forced entry. Just the lingering, unsettling silence. His computer, despite being unplugged, had a single file open on the main screen. Eventide Asylum.exe. And a tiny, almost invisible scratch mark etched onto the screen itself, directly where the reflection of the eyes would have been. Pixel_Hunter, like Alice Thorne, simply vanished. So, if you're a horror game enthusiast, always seeking that next level of immersion, just remember Pixel_Hunter. Remember Eventide Asylum. Because sometimes, when you stare into the abyss of digital horror, the abyss might just decide to stare back. And then, it might reach out and pull you in. If you've felt a chill watching this, or if your screen just flickered, don't look behind you. Instead, hit that subscribe button, and maybe, just maybe, the glitch in the code will skip over your reality tonight.